Hi, I'm Nick at Sideview, and this is Cooking with Sideview Episode 2. If you don't know what Sideview is, or what Sideview Utils is, come to the site. If you're still watching, I assume you know what Sideview is, and even what Sideview Utils is, and that you have decent familiarity with Splunk and with the Splunk user interface systems. What we're going to do here today is quickly skim through the Sideview Utils documentation. Right now you're thinking I'm completely crazy. I've made a screencast of myself reading my own documentation. And you're right, I'm completely crazy. But these docs have living examples built into them, so they're more engaging than documentation normally is. When you're reading about any module or any technique in Utils, on the docs page there's always a living example of whatever it's talking about. So the best way to read these docs is to click the links to look at the actual XML source. You can interact with the living example, read the docs, and then at the same time see the XML source. Depending on your browser, it may try and put its own clever XML viewer logic here. I don't really like any of what they do, so let's look at the actual XML. So most of this is the Chrome. You can see there's the app bar, message, etc., and then you see example begin. Here's the actual example. We have a search. It runs this Splunk search, runs it over the past hour. It pushes it to a Sideview pull-down module. This is also Sideview searches. This is also a Sideview module. It pushes it to this pull-down. This pull-down renders out those series fields. Now we can use the selected value, whatever the user selected from the pull-down, we can use that as selected source type down here. So we plug that into another search. Then the overall search and the time range and everything is now given to a table, which is inside a pager. This will render out a little table. So every time you change the pull down, it'll render a new table. That's it. Let's go back and look at the view again. So here's our example. Again, this is the dynamic pull down one. So it's just showing you the most simple example of how to render and then use a dynamic pull down. Always over on the right, there'll be notes about the particular config, introducing any new modules or any new params. Many of the pages are stitched together into a linear flow. So you see here, this example builds on the previous example. For the intrepid, brave users who actually go through that linear flow and look at all the examples and skim the XML source for each one, it'll take about an hour. But you'll come out the other side with a much better idea of how the Splunk UI works. Not only just how the Sideview UI works, but how the whole Splunk advanced XML system fits together. From there, you'll have the tools to create simple views, but almost more importantly, you'll be able to deconstruct really complex views from other apps, and you'll always keep on learning. Let's look at one other page quickly. In addition to that linear flow page to page, the content's also arranged in the nav in two different ways. On the one hand, there's module documentation, which lays everything out as basic reference materials. If you want to know everything about the Sideview HTML module, it's there. Likewise, pull down, text field, post process. Likewise, other more advanced modules are all in here too. Then on the other side, essentially the same content is sprayed out into different key techniques. If you want to know everything cool about post-process across different Sideview modules, you can see it that way too. Let's look at the inline drill down page. Here it shows a configuration where clicking or drilling down on a table runs another search and displays that in a chart. So you can see if I click on Access Combined, it runs a search just about that. So let's look at the XML again. And again, we'll do it side by side. The app tells you that this is, the recommended way of viewing it. So again, a lot of Chrome, a lot of this, a lot of that, a lot of HT. Here's the actual docs. And then here, again, example begin. We've got a search. We've got a time range. We give that to a table. Now, when things are nested inside a table, that means these things will only show when the user clicks on the table. So we show a header. Again, we show what they clicked on, just to give them a cue. And you see here, click.search terms. This is new. In Sideview Utils 2.0, it can be as simple as that. Just say click.search terms and we'll figure out what it is. Doesn't matter if this is a JS chart or a Flash chart or a simple results table, we'll figure out what the drill down terms are. In core Splunk, you'd have to have a lot of intention syntax to do this. You'd have all these convert to intention modules, and your XML would be really twice as long as this. It'd be a much more complicated example. In Sideview Utils 1.x, this was a lot easier, and it gave you nice tokens that gave you really these, the ones we just saw, click.fields.series. You can plug dollar tokens into pretty much any side view param, whereas in the core system it's pretty rare. There's only a couple places you can use these tokens. But in 2.0, we've added a lot more. This is one of the cooler ones. You really can just fire and forget. It doesn't really matter what it's showing here. It'll figure it out. So anyway, let's go back to see the view again. This is that view. Runs a search. Whatever the user clicks on, it'll draw a chart for that underneath. And you've got, again, docs here, docs, docs, docs. Anyway, no matter what slice of improved functionality we're talking about, the Sideview Utils docs has a living example somewhere waiting to tell you about it. Thanks for watching. Check out the site at sideviewapps.com and check back for more screencasts. There's more coming.